Hello, everyone. It's the morning of patch day, so you get to listen to Unscripted Zeke talk about the new healer weapons and healer gear that's available to us. So this video will be two quick parts. For the first part, I want to talk about the new Ruby weapons and crafted weapons, and then also the crafted gear versus the Eden Call gear, which is the normal mode gear. And then after that, I'll talk a little bit about what I expect the Savage Best in Slot to be. So I guess let's just hop right into it. So first thing, in terms of the crafted weapons versus the ruby weapons, I only have the Astro page here and then the Scholar page as well. So for Astrologian and White Mage, their choices are actually identical. They have a crafted weapon with Piety and Spell Speed, which is, pretty meh. And then they have the Ruby weapon, which is Piety and Determination. And so the big thing to notice here is that the Ruby weapon has 1 weapon damage over the crafted weapon, so it'll be significantly better, even not accounting for the fact that its substats are slightly better. So if you have the ability to pick up the Ruby weapon day 1, I definitely go for it. And alternatively, if you're doing like week 2, week 3 prog, it's definitely a good idea to pick up this weapon eventually, as a precursor to whatever other weapon you plan on picking up. And then if you're a scholar, you have the option of choosing between the Piety Determination Crafted Codex and the Crit Piety Ruby Codex. So this is a similar choice. The Ruby Codex both has the extra weapon damage and slightly better substats, so I definitely look to pick up the Ruby Codex if you can. In terms of the crafted gear, this is actually generally across the board a really easy call. This is a really good set of crafted gear overall. That's kind of friendly to all classes. It has a ton of piety, which is good for Astro, and it has not a whole lot of spell speed. It actually has 853 spell speed if you take all of the crafted pieces, which is ridiculously low. That's a 2.45 second GCD. So regardless of what you're playing, you probably won't be running out of mana this tier. For Astrologian specifically, I'd be comfortable with taking the amount of piety that comes with this set, which is 2450, just straight out of the box. Normally, I'd recommend that you meld piety on Astro for prog, but I don't think that's necessary this time around. Um, this, as I said, this set is very high piety, so it doesn't do the most damage. So if you're looking for some aggressive swaps, I would look at a couple pieces. So I have a note here. So the things I would look to prioritize, if you're going to swap out a crafted piece for one of the Eden normal pieces, I would look at the boots, because the crafted boots are piety and determination, and the Eden normal boots are crit spell speed. I would also look at the belt, because this is also a crit spell speed versus piety determination. And then finally, I would look at the necklace, which is again crit spell speed against piety determination. These are the pieces that the Eden versions are better than the crafted versions, at least in terms of damage. Obviously, you're losing the piety here, but if you're playing something like White Mage and you really feel like you don't need like this much piety, then this is a way to pick up a little more damage if you're worried about like week 1 prog and clearing E8S and all that sort of thing. And then finally, for food, I would mostly look at the stuffed Highland cabbage. This is the equivalent of the robe lettuce salad that most of the healers used last year. If you want to go fast on White Mage, the herring pie is slightly better, although you'll need a little more spell speed than what is here at base to make full usage out of the food, so I'm not sure if I'd recommend that. And then if you want even more piety, I would go with the lemon waffle, which is piety determination. So now that that's out of the way, in terms of what I expect the Savage Best to be, most of these pieces are actually really easy choices. So one thing to note is that all of the healer weapons, both in terms of the augmented Crystarium weapon and the Eden Choir weapon, they are all identical for all 3 healers. So this augmented weapon is always high piety, low critical hit, regardless of what healer you're playing, and the Eden weapon is high piety, low determination. So these 2 weapons I imagine are going to be fairly close overall, as the augmented weapon has crit and the Eden weapon has piety, or not piety, but determination. So depending on how much crit we're able to put into the set, it's possible that this extra crit boost might outweigh the weapon damage, although I don't expect it to. So I would plan on just going with the Eden weapons when you get them. In terms of the head slot, there are a lot of easy choices. So there's a crit det head from Eden. The augmented body is crit det. The gloves from Eden are crit det. The augmented waist is crit det. So a lot of really, really good pieces. For the pants, these are crit spell speed, and their alternative is Piety Determination. So if you end up needing to grab a lot more Piety on Astro, this is something you can consider, although I don't know if it's the best choice. Right now, this Piety set is sitting at about 838, which is very low Piety, especially for Astro. So you'll probably have to figure out a way to flex some pieces in. If I remember correctly, this headpiece is actually one of the best things to swap out if you're going to look for an Astro BIS, because you can pick up a lot of Piety here while still maintaining your crit. None of these other pieces are necessarily that good for flexing. The other big, let's see. So again, here's another crit spell speed piece that'll be better than Piety Det. For the earrings, there's a crit det piece, which is better than the det spell speed. There's another crit det piece for the necklace and for the bracelet. And then the rings are both fairly good. There's a crit det ring and there is a crit spell speed ring. So I would say that crit spell speed is slightly weaker than crit det, of course, but it's not going to be so much so that you're going to consider running 2 of the same ring like we did last year. And then again, I expect Cabbage to be best in slot for most people. Although in the case of White Mage, you may end up looking at the Herring Pie just because it's higher crit. But yeah, I think that just about sums up all my initial thoughts. Sorry for stuttering through this a little bit, but I wanted to get this out as quickly as possible. So here you have it.